I'm Noah Scoggins.
I'm Ethan Lord.
This is Out of the Woods,
a Greyhound Studio production.
Two cops are killed in Jones County. Some say it was an accident, others say a death trap.
Frank M. Tucker, age 28, and Floyd H. Malone, age 44, went searching in the early morning for moonshine stills. Deep in the woods of Lower Jones County, they just so happened to come across one.
When they came across it, two Shiner brothers, Atkinson and Grover Etheridge, were ready to defend the still with their lives.
The two cops were tipped off to the location of the signers. They had not yet known they were surrounded, trapped.
Days later, two brothers, 29 and 36 years old, who owned the still that Malone and Tucker had destroyed, were charged with their murder. Both were convicted of their murders and sentenced to life. The Georgia Supreme Court awarded one a new trial, and it was learned that a juror on his first trial was related to the prosecutor.
That was local Jones County historian Cecil Etheridge. You'll hear more from him throughout this podcast. Sadly, the two officers didn't survive.
The men's bodies were discovered laying on the rifle several miles away from the still by the Old Shoats Mill on the afternoon of August 28, 1925.
The Shoats lived in a house. This is a picture of the house. It's down on Highway 49. There's a road called Pioneer Road. This house still, when you look at it and you're going 49, the back of the house faces 49. You think, what in the world? Why is it like that? Well, Highway 49 wasn't there when this house was built. It was facing a road in the front that I was told was called Stagecoach Road, which I think later probably became the Macon Garrison Road, which I think is referred to in this deal that y'all have come up with. Well, anyhow, this Richard Shoat, there was 4 kids in that family. They ran the mill, which, of course, this talks about your murder bit. And, of course, they were down there close to the water, and they grew some corn and stuff, and they would grind that stuff up, okay? And that's what the mill was basically for.
The brothers were later convicted of the murders of Tucker and Malone.
Grover Etheridge was tried and convicted, but only served a few years before being paroled.
Atkinson was initially found guilty, but the Georgia Supreme Court awarded him a new trial when it was discovered that a juror was related to the prosecutor. His second trial resulted in an acquittal.
Well, I kind of figured out some of these people, and I do think they are related distantly. And I know this sounds kind of crazy. Back in the day, in this particular Shoat house, and this was 1925, a man had built it. His last name was Shoat, Choate. And when I grew up, we always referred to that bridge down there as Shoats' Bridge that went over Commissioner's Creek. Okay, and he needed help, so he got a nephew to move down and help him. And that nephew did marry and had 4 kids, and one of his kids was the one that died. The other boy died young age of some kind of disease that was going around. And then there were 2 girls. One of the girls apparently, well, they both married, but one of them married, and she died, and I don't know that she had any children. The other one happened to be my great-great-great-grandmother, okay? And she wound up living in this particular house and kind of farming it because her husband died when he was about 30 or 31, and she had 3 kids. And her youngest daughter, or the youngest child, was a girl, and she married an Etheridge. Okay, so it's funny how you see the names kind of keep coming back in. So I feel like these boys are somewhat related because they knew the area, okay? And some of the other names that I picked up on here that were not in that article that you gave me was kind of interesting. So I feel like they were connected to the Shoats. Probably the boys knew a little bit about the property and this, that, or the other. So, somewhere down there, because back in the day, people had tons of acreage because the main thing they did was grow crops. It hadn't been too long since they'd gone from the plantation type thing. So I'm sure they were familiar with it. They had other people that probably helped them with the steel, and then somehow or other, probably somebody tipped them off.
Not long after this case, the sheriff of Jones County and a Jones County officer were arrested on federal warrants on conspiracy to violate national prohibition laws. These lawmen were accused of allowing moonshiners to operate under police protection.
Were Officers Tucker and Malone victims of being in the wrong place at the wrong time? Or was it something far more sinister? We may never know.
This has been Out of the Woods with me, Ethan Lord.
And I, Noah Scoggins. Thank you for listening to this Greyhound Studio production.